All right, good evening. Welcome back to Fan Comments on Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. I'm looking at my watch. It's like 25 to 6. So, of course, we're running a little bit late. I'm not going to get into the reasons why or the where or hows, but we are here. And I've got my co-host for the Fan Comments in Richard from Arsenal TV. Richard, how are you this evening?
Yeah, man, I still feel a bit deflated after the defeat. To me, it feels like a defeat anyway. But yeah, I'm just a bit deflated after that Tottenham game.
Yeah,
But
very, very, very disappointing. Of
we
course,
just got,
for me
yeah.
personally, it was 2 points dropped. And before we came on air, I was just saying to Richard, really, we're at home, and we should have made a statement of intent that there's no way that these guys should have got anything out of the game, and they got
Mhm.
they got a point. And yeah, anyway, so we're going to get into the fan comments because, like I said, we're running a little bit late. And as you may or may not know, we like to read all the comments that you guys religiously, I say religiously, put on the channel over the last 6 or 7 days. So I think I went first last time. Do you want to go first, Richard?
Yeah, I'll go first. We've got a comment here from Luca on Twitter, and I think he was replying to your video, and he said, "Quality video. I think we'll draw 2-2 to Spurs."
He
And
got it right, didn't he? He called
yeah.
it right. 2-2. 2-2.
Well, I mean, we would have been free to. We would have been free to, but it was caught offside by the VAR decision. But for me, for Koleżnik, if he's looking across the line, he should know that he's offside. You know, it's a schoolboy thing that you get taught. You know, when you're a youngster and you're playing football, they always teach you about the offside and stuff. So, like, if you're looking across the line, you can see you're offside.
Yeah, yeah. But I think he did relatively well, knowing that he hadn't played in a couple of matches or one match. Did he play in the
Um,
Liverpool game?
Koleżnik, no, he didn't play in the Liverpool game. I think he might have came on as a substitution, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, for me, I think he was okay in terms of going forward into the attack. I just don't think he gave a lot defensively because
Yeah.
we was getting caught out quite a few times, especially down on our left hand side and our right hand side as
Both
well.
sides. Both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, the
and this
midfield was too narrow. There was no
yeah, and
cover
this
for.
this is why I said to you last night that I think the international break has come at the right time because Kieran Tierney and Bellerin, they're going to be coming back into full training. So now going back to the last, our 4 games that we've had, it shows that how crucial they are to the team, that they're going to be to the team to improve our backline. I don't
Mm,
think we're going to get caught out quite a lot in terms of when we have Tierney and Bellerin back in the side, but it depends on what Bellerin is going to turn up. Is it going to be the Bellerin that played well before he got injured at the Chelsea game, or is it going to be the Bellerin where his crossing is poor, his defending is poor? I mean, an injury can make you a better player, or it can make you a little bit way off the pace.
yeah. I have to see the history of players who have suffered of ACLs. How have they come back? Have they come back, better and stronger and wiser for it, or has their careers really suffered for it? That's something maybe
Mm,
we can probably look at maybe at a later stage. All right, so
yeah.
my turn. I've got here one from someone called Neil Walker, who apparently is a Liverpool supporter, and he says he's referring to the Voice of Reason that my brother does on Wednesday, and he says that mate, as a Liverpool fan, I think we played ace against you, and you're a long way from being anything like Liverpool Football Club. And he's right. He's right. We're an age and then some change away from being anything like Liverpool. We know that. We
Mm,
know that, and we've got to give, like I say so many times, we've got to give Unai Emery time. Got to give him time. It's only the 4th game in. We've got to give him time. I know he's making mistakes and errors, and I would I don't want him to be making errors because
mm,
Richard, like we said, he should have played Dani Ceballos. He should have played Dani Ceballos from the start. But I'm not calling for his head. For me, it would be so unfair to have one manager who was at Arsenal for 22 years only to let go of this manager in his 2nd season.
Mhm.
I think it's unfair. But yeah, I mean, the guy's right. You know, we're not anywhere near, you know, Liverpool's level. You know, but
Yeah. See, Al, like I admit with Unai Emery at the moment, he's worrying me a bit.
in what sense? Why? Why you say that?
Reason why he's worrying me a bit, he knows that this is Tottenham. This is the North London derby. Why would you be so defensive in midfield when I can understand if you're being defensive and the whole setup against Liverpool? I understand because Liverpool have got a better attacking force and in their midfield as well.
Hmm.
So I can understand why he set it up the way he did against Liverpool, but I don't see why he went so defensively in midfield against Tottenham. This is what I don't understand. You know, you've got Granit Xhaka, you've got Lucas Torreira, who I thought was a little bit off the pace. He was a bit rusty, but in parts of it, I think he done a lot more to what Granit Xhaka did.
Yeah.
In the sense,
Yeah.
you've got Guendouzi that he was trying to drive forward. Now, the way he picked out that pass for Aubameyang's
Aubameyang.
to get that second goal, I don't know how he saw that pass. I would never know.
Do you know? I saw the repeats on that, and even when he's like looking up, I'm thinking, at what point do you pick out that pass? Because you know,
Yeah,
Obama had a way to go to meet it. I'm thinking, how the hell did he see that pass there? It was literally
yeah.
no, just through the eye of a needle. It had to pass through, I think, three players, Tottenham players. How did he manage to do that?
And not to get caught offside either. That's the
Absolutely,
best thing
yeah,
about it, and to get caught offside. The only thing now, people, when they look at Granit Xhaka, which I thought he was ridiculous and he was stupidity to go in for that tackle to cause that penalty. Now, before that, if you look at it, we had an awful 20 minutes at the start of the game. We was getting caught out left, right, and centre in midfield. Our midfield was all over the place. Our defence was getting caught out a lot of times. And just nothing just went to plan. But then if you look at it, like you're looking at it, right, you're 1-0 down. Before that, you're 1-0 down, which I don't think Lino is kind of at fault for it. I think it's a defensive error as well, because Socrates should have been tracking Ericsson. He should have been tracking Ericsson, and he wasn't. You're 1-0 down, and then at that point, you're thinking, right, we're going at halftime 1-0 down. But then you think, okay, we can come back into this game. We're only one goal behind. But then going 2-0 down, you're thinking, great, it's an uphill struggle.
yeah.
Not now an uphill battle. And you're thinking, right, what do we need to do? Now, I'm surprised that Emery, during these tactics, now, if he knew that Danny Rose was on that yellow card, why did he not tell Pepe to say,
Pressure,
look,
absolutely, pressure him. Yeah,
keep going at him, get him a second yellow card, and he's off.
Emery
Why
missed a
not?
lot. He missed a lot yesterday. He missed a lot. I'm really surprised, you know. And I think as well. I mean, I was expecting him to make some substitutions at half time. We didn't see Danny come on until, was it?
I think it was about 20 minutes to go until full time. I think it's roughly about 15, 20 minutes until full time, which I think it was I think now it showed that when you have your front three, which we've all been crying out for since since he's come in. If you know that you've got no one in that number 10 role to be pulling the strings, surely Emery at half time is going to say, look, you know what? We're struggling to create goals in this first half. We're struggling to get behind Tottenham's backline. You're coming on.
Then
Because
why didn't he?
I know, and
Why
he's got
didn't he?
Danny Ceballos has got a really good hold-up play as well, which I really like about him. Because as I said before, he reminds me of the prime Santi Cazorla, the way he used to drop his shoulder and the way he used to spin round the player. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the first half compared to the second half, now the way the second half played out, we created more chances during that second half, but we didn't take them.
But even in the first half, in the first 9 minutes, we were on the front foot. We were pushing
Yeah.
them back. I was really surprised. But
Mm.
the only thing that was missing was we didn't take our chances. We had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 chances that we should have taken.
Um,
We should have taken. I think,
three. I think it was roughly about 3 or 4 chances, really.
yeah, in 9 minutes, and then
Yeah.
they sucker punch. Well, they didn't sucker, but we tripped up. It was again we spoke about this, before. It
Yeah.
was the centre back going up for a header so far, and you're right. Xhaka wasn't going to win that header. So if he had lost the
Uh,
header, at least Socrates could have cleared the ball. But he was going up for the header. He was so far forward. Again, we just gifted it to them. We
I
gifted it
just
to
think,
them.
do you know what? I just think it was a little bit of miscommunication as well between
Yeah, it
Socrates and Granit Xhaka.
was
But
done.
yeah, I mean, if you're a defender in terms of Socrates, you know to stay back. If you know that the midfielder has got it covered, you need to stay back just in case if he fails that.
Drop off. Drop off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
drop off of
yeah.
it, and then you'll be able to cover the next man who's going to be in that attacking third to get on the end of it.
Mm.
But I think Emery, this is the only criticism I'll give to him. I think he showed his Spurs too much respect.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here thinking, but hold on a minute, we're at home.
Yeah.
We've got a better record than Tottenham. We've got a better squad than Tottenham. If you look at it in terms of our front three, they only had 2 up front.
Mm. But
So
I think it goes to 2 things. It's either that he was scared, or he didn't trust the midfield enough. It's one of these 2 things. Why would you set up defensively when you're at home against them lot down the road?
yeah,
Does he not
I
trust the midfield? Well, I guess he's right, because Xhaka gave one a penalty.
yeah.
Anyway, look, let's
So,
get on. Let's get on. Let's get on, because
yeah.
we're gonna get bogged down. Is it my turn or is it your turn? Your turn, isn't it?
Yes, my turn.
Yeah. Sorry, Richard.
That's all right. When my tablet decides to unlock. Okay, the next comment comes from Aaron Agrosh, and he says, "Take it on the chin and move on." Man, we've been taking it on the chin for the past 3 years.
I think he's talking about the match, Liverpool match, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because what I said to him was that we've got to just get over the Liverpool match and think about the next match, which was the Tottenham match. And he's just saying, take it on the chin. What do you mean take it? We've been taking it on the chin for such a long time. But we can't literally, be sulking. Things change so very quickly in football. It's like I said before, we won our first 2 games of the season for the first time in many years, and then we lost the 3rd game, and it's like the world has come to an end in the fan base. Things change so very, very quickly.
Do you know what? It proves on our in terms of Tottenham's fan base and our fan base. We was more disappointed to get a draw than Tottenham fans were. Tottenham fans were more happy to get a draw.
Well, of course.
So, but the way we played in that second half, we deserved it to win. We did deserve to win, because in the last 20 minutes, we was catching Tottenham out left, right, and centre. They were struggling at the back, especially Sissoko. He was struggling.
Yeah, they lost it, didn't they? They just didn't have the energy levels.
No.
But the problem was, Richard, we just didn't capitalize. We didn't capitalize on the advantage that we had.
And this is why I still say that, looking back at the game yesterday and also looking back at the highlights of it, to me it still feels it's 2 points dropped and not 1 point gained.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone said, right, you'll take 7 points of a possible 12, we would have took their hand off. We would have said, what are you smoking?
Dearie me. Let's get back into the comments now. One here from Screenboy8, who's a regular on both Arsenal TV and Canafroy TV as well. And this comment is he's made on the preview I did for North London Derby. He says, I agree with your 11. Maybe start Monreal at left back and bring Kolasinac for him if needed in the second half. So unbeknownst to him, and I think I mentioned it in my preview, that I already knew that he was going to be heading to Real Sociedad, and he's gone. He's signed for them, and yeah, I was very disappointed because I think he's been our reliable left back. He gives some good in defence, a little bit going forward, but he's mainly known for his defending and his
Yeah.
dependability. The timing of him being sold to Real Sociedad, I have to question because he was sold for, what was the fee in the end, Richard? It was
I'm not.
very small. It
I'm
was,
not too sure. I haven't seen what the fee of it was. I might have to have a look. But I'm actually quite. I'm happy that he's gone in some sort of sense, and I'm kind of disappointed. Now, the reason why I'm happy that he's gone because I just think that the Premier League, in terms of the pace of it, I think it was getting to him a little bit. I don't think he could keep up with the Premier League as he's getting older now. And I'm happy that he's gone because it's another deadwood player off our wage bill. I don't think that he will have got that much of a look in when Tierney comes into the side. So maybe it's good that he's gone, but it proves that our board are being ruthless in terms of transfers. Now Mkhitaryan is now also gone on to a long-term deal with AS Roma. So it proves that we are being ruthless in terms of transfer dealings and whatnot. But it depends on who have they got in mind to bring in to replace him. Now, the way I look at Mkhitaryan now, the him gone, maybe that's kind of brought an open door for Reece Nelson for him to get more game time.
Or Willock.
Yeah, or Joe Willock. No, I would have Willock in a defensive midfield, to be honest.
Oh, right, okay. But let me ask you this question. So what happens if Kolasinac gets injured? Who's going to come in? Tierney is a way off. He's not. He's still not fully fit. Yeah, and that's what I've always said. With Nketiah being put out on loan, you saw Lacazette. He was injured yesterday. He was asked to be taken off, and we don't have a recognized attacker to take. I think we've got Pepe who plays on the wing, and sometimes he's played in attack. But we needed a replacement striker, like in the likes of Danny Welbeck. But Nketiah has been loaned out to Leeds. If Kolasinac gets injured, we don't have a recognised left back to take his place.
Well, I mean, we did until we got rid of him, and for me, I think this would have been a good call up for Bramall for the academy side, because he was a left back, but Arsenal have decided to let him go as well. So we've now got no one to go into that left back or / wing back position now.
And that's what I'm saying, Richard. The timing of him being sold, I know no player can stay at Arsenal forever. Everyone has a sell-by date, but just think about transition. He would have been a great model for Tierney coming through there. Tierney is still a way off. He's not fit. He's not fit. And Kolasinac is the only recognised left back we've got there now. So God forbid if he gets injured, who's going to come in, really? Who's going to come in?
I know. That's what I've been thinking as well. I don't there is no one that we can bring in that position. No. Unless Unai Emery would be thinking at this point to play a back three.
I don't want to see a back three.
I don't either. You're not the only person that doesn't want to see it. I don't want to see a back three either. Because I feel that with a back four we're more solid than we are with. Yes, but yeah.
All right, let's get back into the fan comments. Sorry, Richard. So I've got one here from Andrew from Dial Square to Where, and he says, "I loathe Harry Kane, cheating scumbag." What shirt is? All right, yeah. So yeah, just calling Harry Kane a cheating scumbag. Yeah, because of the assimilation, and he didn't get a yellow card.
No,
he didn't get a yellow card. Is that what happens when you're the England captain?
Well, I was actually saying this to my partner as well, and she said that Socrates should not have got booked because it was Harry Winks that also caused it down on the touchline. Now, for me, I don't have a problem with the referee. It's down to the linesman because the linesman has a better view of what's going on than the referee did. Now, going back to your point, why was Harry Winks also not booked as well as Harry Kane? Because they're England players. That's why they wasn't booked. Now, if this is it's still football at the end of the day, they still deserve the punishment that they get, being an England player or not.
Untouchables. They're
Yeah,
untouchables. Do you have another comment, Richard?
I do, but
Yeah.
you've already actually read a comment that I actually
Sorry,
had as
I've
well.
done it again.
It's okay, don't worry. I've got one for Aaron Agosh as well, and he put, I gradually agree, Alex. Come the weekend, and we are all glued to the TV supporting Arsenal. Yes, despite everything.
Yeah. Okay. And I've got one here where he's just talking. This is referring to after the North London derby. I'm getting impatient with Unai Emery's team selection. But contrary to what I expected, Guendouzi played a pretty dominating game. That's true. He was your man of the match, wasn't he, Guendouzi?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's young, but dares to take responsibility, much more than he can handle. But at least he keeps aggression even at his worst. I'm getting tired of Maitland-Niles floundering when controlling the ball and exposing the others around the defence. First half, I would like to forget. The second half, I thought we just couldn't score. Like I said, we had so many opportunities, but we just couldn't capitalize on
No.
the possession. We produced blitzkrieg. So what does that teach me? This team should play the attacking game. It did so with such power that our defenders were definitely under less pressure. Oh, I can't wait for Rob Holding to come back and play in between Socrates and Luis. 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, and 3 in the front. Yeah, just the tinkering of the formation and the players. The players, they do need to become accustomed, with their colleagues on the pitch. There has to be
Yeah.
some kind of harmony amongst them. But if it's forever changing the formation and changing the personnel, then they're not going to gel. They're not going
No,
to
they're not. And Al, do you know what? I mean, that was a thing that, as I said to you earlier, I mean, this is what caught me off guard in terms of the lineup. I was thinking, well, you've got your main front three attackers, but then where is the person in that midfield who's going to be pulling the strings for them? Who's going to be providing that service? Because Guendouzi sort of was. Now, I know everyone, has criticised Granit Xhaka, so have I, because of the penalty decision. But overall, he didn't really have that bad of a game. If you put
No, he
that bit,
didn't.
if you
You're
put
right.
that bit to side, he didn't, because he was springing the long range passes around and spraying them to left to right. So in that sense, he was trying to open Tottenham, but not as good as we thought he might have done. But everyone will always criticise the bad thing that Granit Xhaka has done, and that's to give away the penalty. Because I also feel that penalty that Granit Xhaka gave away is also lost us 3 points as well. So,
do you think he's going to play in the Watford game?
I don't want him to. I don't want him to. But Emery will pick him.
Yeah, absolutely, he will.
Emery will pick him. I mean, if you've got eyes and you're seeing of what's going on in the field, surely Emery's thinking, you know what? If he's making these mistakes, I can't have him on the field. I just can't. I would have to bench him. And this is where I think that Joe Willock, if he was picked during the Tottenham game, I think he would have gave that drive to go towards the final third and to try and create something for us. I think that's what we was lacking as well, is energy. The only person who gave us energy was Guendouzi.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't want to repeat, but yeah, it's like the midfield again for me was the main culprit. They just didn't provide any cover for the defense. They were just all over the place. So undisciplined for me. But,
well,
yeah,
I mean, in our midfield, out of our players, we haven't really got a player that's a complete player. They've got one of
what
each
do you mean?
thing.
What do you mean?
Well, you think about it, you've got Guendouzi. He's more like the energetic player that likes to burst forward, but sometimes he likes to play the ball sideways as well, which we hate him doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Ceballos, who's more of that forward thinking, that likes to get the ball forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Granit Xhaka, who's, well, clumsy as always. But he's a player that likes to spread the balls out. We haven't got a player that's got everything all into one as a complete player in terms of character as well. That's what we don't have. And this is where I think it's so hard for Emery or for any manager to balance a midfield if you haven't got a player that is a complete player that can do everything.
But I don't think we need a player like that. We just need players to play to their strengths. If your strength is to defend, then defend. Don't try and be an attacker. If you are an attacking midfielder, don't try and defend. For me personally, just play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. Don't try and be something that you're not. And it makes the whole situation more messy. Just
Yeah,
play to your strengths.
but another thing I don't get is why was Torreira coming forward? Why was he being attacking? Why? This is what I do not understand.
No, but the thing is, Richard, what I was told because I was on Ray's channel straight after I did my live stream, and someone put in the comments that the way Torreira was bombing forward, definitely Unai Emery would have been the instructions from Unai Emery to Torreira to go forward. Undisciplined. For me, it was undisciplined. You know fully well that, with Harry Kane, Song, these guys, and Eriksen, they're very flamboyant, very mobile players. Torreira should have sat just in front of the back four. Because he was so far forward, he left the back door open for Song to bomb down and bomb through very easily through the midfield and get, at the defense. And we know, Richard, that the defense can't defend.
No.
Richard, I've got to get into the comments. There's just been so many.
Let's have a look. Yeah, let's go into the live ones. Let's have a look, see what everyone's been saying.
Right. So, we've got our mate, Richard. Sunny, TV Unfiltered.
Yeah.
So, guys, one question, Richard. What possesses you to buy a DT hat? It's not a DT hat. It's Richard's hat.
Do you know what? I just like the I just like the way it is, and sometimes I do have to behave myself sometimes. So it practically summed me up. So that's where I brought it. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. And then we've got Ray from Arsenal Fan Circle. He says, evening, Alex and Richard. Ray, good evening to you as well. And what else have we got here? Beg your pardon. Let's see. We've got Screenboy. I think he's conscious of our defense frailties, to be honest, but it did hold us back. Yeah, like I said, I think he's worried. He's worried, about the defense. And then work on it. Work on it. Or better still, work on our attack. The best form of defense is our attack. The defense is not our strongest point. I said, how many times have I said that? The defense is not our strongest point. So do all you can to support the attacks. But I'm just getting a little bit. Go on, Richard. Sorry, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I'm just going back to what Screenboy 8 just said about the defense. Do you know what? I haven't seen any changes in terms of our defense for a long time. I haven't seen any changes. It seems to me that our defense is exactly the same way as it was last season. That's how I'm looking at it, because I'm being funny. If you look at Eriksen's first goal, you look at Socrates, he wasn't even marking him. He was more of where the ball was.
I don't know what he was doing, Richard. What was he doing?
Neither do I. And then you look at the ball that was over the top, and then you had Granit Xhaka and Socrates going for the same ball. You're thinking, what? Socrates, hold on, mate, you're a defender. You need to be back. Because as I said earlier, Al, if you're going to lose that ball, someone needs to be back. Exactly.
And
I feel that out of Socrates and David Luiz. I think David Luiz was the better defender out of the pair of them.
Yeah. And then we've got Sonny against us. Ceballos changed the game. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
In less than 5 minutes, Sonny. He was twisting and turning, and he got a shot off. I mean, it was a regulation save that Lloris had to make there, but it just goes to show why wasn't Unai Emery thinking about playing Ceballos from the get-go? Really, Ceballos did nothing to be benched.
No.
Why was he on the bench? Willock
Now,
literally didn't do nothing to get benched.
No, see, Al, if you went back and look at my preview, this is why I chose Willock, and this is the reason why I chose Ceballos, because Willock would give that energy and that drive to drive forward, and then Ceballos would be the ones that would be supplying the balls to Pepe, Abba, and Lack. Now, I also noticed that during that Tottenham game, that Aubameyang does not look comfortable on the wings at all. He doesn't, and this is where, if you look at when Lacazette got taken off, Aubameyang went more central and he felt more comfortable, because when he was playing at Dortmund, he was playing mostly centrally as well. Sometimes left and right wing, but it wasn't that often, because the manager at the time knew that he was more comfortable playing more centrally, and that's why he got so many goals, because he likes to be in and out. He likes to be central. He likes to have that freedom.
Exactly. And we need a player to play with freedom. Yesterday's game, Richard, was ideal for Dani Ceballos to start. It was perfect for him. Tottenham are no Liverpool. No. They are no Liverpool, and it was ideal for Dani Ceballos. But yet Unai Emery didn't play him. He didn't play him.
No, but Al, as I said to you, I think that Unai Emery showed his Spurs too much respect. Yeah. Why should you show them too much respect? You're at home. It's a North London derby. It's not like that that Spurs are like Liverpool and they've got one of the best attacks in the Premier League. Nothing like that. And then you got some fans criticizing Nicolas Pepe because he haven't scored a goal yet. I'll put a statistic to you. Think of how long it took Thierry Henry to score his first goal. Think of how long it took Dennis Bergkamp to score his first goal, and they're two of our best club legends.
Yeah, time and patience.
All Nicolas Pepe needs is just improving on that final end product, and what he needs time, and he just needs to get a goal, because once he scores his first goal, there'll be no stopping him.
Yeah. And just to cap it off, Ceballos is pure class. Screenboy8 says, pure class.
And it's a shame we don't have an option to buy him.
Who knows?
So don't be surprised if Real Madrid be wanting about between 40 to 60 million pounds for him.
Was it you who was saying that he might stay at Arsenal? If he's not guaranteed games at Real Madrid, then of course he would want to stay at Arsenal, where he will be guaranteed game time. Was it you who said that?
Yeah.
Or was it somebody else? Maybe it was somebody.
No. It was me that said that, because if you look at his time at Real Madrid, Zinedine Zidane didn't play him that much in the first team, and he was mainly benched. So maybe the reason why he's been loaned out for him to get first team football. And I think that if Dani Ceballos is happy at Arsenal and he's getting how much game time that he wants, he might turn around and say, do you know what? I actually want to go to Arsenal.
Yeah. Comment here from Ryan. Also, Mateo was absolutely class yesterday. Hands down, best player. And we did say he was
absolutely
man of the match. Ray has come back and said, respect. They are in such a bad form and were there for... we said that they were there for the taking. We need to play to our strengths. Yeah, Ray, that's what we just said. Play to our strengths. If you are a defender, defend. If you are a midfielder, then act as a midfielder. If you're an attacker, then attack. But for some reason, Unai Emery, he just seems to have lost his way somewhere. Scrimboy8, I know how Man City felt with the draw they got against the Spuds. Dearie me. Another one from Brian. 4 wins in 15 going back to last season, like you said. Therefore, they're taken. But players like Xhaka are always going to make it hard for ourselves. Yeah. He put himself under pressure. Yeah. He put the team under pressure. And Ryan, like I've said, expect to see a lot more of Shaka, because for some unknown reason, I know you've put something in the chat, which I'm not going to put on the channel, but yeah, for some unknown reason, Unai Emery continues to play Granit Xhaka. I don't know. Some more here. We've got one from Don One. Welcome, Don One. Pepe didn't give AZ Metanars any support. Tottenham ripped us to pieces in the first half on the right flank.
Yeah, that I can agree with. He didn't.
But but again, like I said to you before, Torreira was sometimes ahead of Pepe, and he's supposed to be our defensive midfielder. Why was he so far up front, leaving the back door open for the likes of these guys to just rip through? He was too far forward, undisciplined. Ah, dearie me. Okay, and then we've got another one. Can Kalashnikov? I'll let you answer that one, Richard.
Can Kalashnikov cross the ball? Do you know what? No.
No.
No. He probably can't even cross the road.
Which is on form today. Where would Reece Nelson fit in a North London Derby 11?
I think this is where you would have to revert to a 4-2-3-1 and then play Reece Nelson out on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Then you could have Laka up top. You could, or no, maybe not. I was going to say you could have had a Aubameyang up front and then Lacazette in behind him in that three. That may have worked. But yeah, I would say if you're going to play Reece Nelson, then he would have to be out on the right hand side if you revert to a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. And what else have we got? Got another one here from Screenboy. By the end of the month, we should have Bellerin, Holding, and Tierney playing. Then we will start to see a totally different defense. I hope to God, but I think the majority of the problems have come down the middle with the centre backs, David Luiz and Socrates. No, is that going to make such a difference having Tierney and Bellerin?
I'm just thinking whether to bring Chambers back, to be honest, in that defence, because he hasn't really put a foot wrong when he's played. He's kept things simple. This is what I'm kind of thinking, because Socrates has been a bit rush at times, especially against Spurs. He was a bit rush at times. David Luiz, see, what I like about him is that he does like to bomb the ball over the top to play the long range passes. I like that.
He didn't do it too many times yesterday, did he?
No, he didn't. I think he only done it about, if I can remember rightly, I think it was about 4 times. I can't think of any other time that he done it, but it is what it is.
All right, it just takes me to my segue. If you're new to Cannon Fire TV or you're just passing by, make sure you subscribe if you like what you see so far. One of 3 segments we have on Cannon Fire TV, which is Fine Comments, where I'm joined by my co-host, Richard from Arsenal TV. On Wednesdays, we'll have The Voice of Reason, where my brother goes through the week's events and gets a lot of anger off his chest. And Friday is the Easy Talk, where we have a panel of guests just talking about all things Arsenal. We've got, again, Richard from Arsenal TV. He's making his way to 1,000 subs. Again, so make sure you go over there. Make sure you subscribe to his channel to help him work a little bit closer to 1,000 subs. And Richard's going to be doing something special when he reaches 1,000 subs. Richard, what are you doing?
I'm dyeing the middle of my hair blonde.
There you go. So if you want to see the middle part of his hair dye blonde, or better still red and white, go over there, subscribe to his channel, and hit the little bell notification button. Yep.
And if you can't find it, I will put my channel in the comments box at the end of the live stream.
Yep. Okay. And one from Don One, big up Indian Guna. And then we've got Arsenal fans. I've got Ray. Nguna Mkhitaryan has gone to Roma. So Nelson takes his spot.
I would agree with that. Oh, I actually said that to you, that now Mickey's gone, that maybe might open the door for Reece Nelson to get more game time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not sure why Unai Emery even played him yesterday. If he knew that he's going to be going next day to sign for AS Roma, why play him? Why not play? But
I personally would have brought on Reece Nelson.
of
That
course,
that
of
that
course.
would have been mine. But I don't know. I think that Mkhitaryan, I think it is a long-term deal. I think it's a long-term.
I hope so.
So
I hope so.
yeah, I hope so too.
Right, just
Because
run through this last chat here from Sanjay Joseph. Good evening, Sanjay. Thank you for coming to the chat. I've got a gut feeling that we got Titi. He was there at North London Derby. He is second best centre back for Barcelona. He is looking for first team action to get back to the French team. It could be, TT.
that could be a possibility. I know Arsenal was linked with him over the summer, but I don't know how true it is. But I read that apparently he's extended the contract with Barcelona. So I don't know how true that is. Don't take my word for it, but I think he has extended a new contract with him. But I know Samuel Umtiti, I believe he's friends with Lacazette as well and
Yeah,
Aubameyang. So that could be another reason why he was there to support them.
yeah.
And I am quite surprised that Lacazette has not been called up to the French team. He hasn't been called up for a very, very long time. And he was our player of the season last season. So I'm surprised that he wasn't called up.
Very,
Um,
very surprised. Yeah, yeah.
I would be surprised, as I said to you before, Al, I have got a feeling that the Upper Makana deal is practically done. Because I know that they was in talks with him during the David Luiz, but obviously they knew that they wasn't going to get it done in time. And I think that's
Mm,
why they've gone with David Luiz for now, probably until January. And then maybe they're waiting for January to open for Upper Makana to come in, but you never know.
yeah, we never know in football. And I think Glenn, who's another regular, has put a lot of comments. Actually, I didn't read his comment that he put in last week. A very, very funny comment. Maybe I'll save it for the next fan comments. Sorry if this was asked already. I'm starting to believe Unai Emery is not right for the club. I don't want him sacked, but he does not seem to learn from his mistakes. I too do not want to see him sacked. I said before at the beginning of the fan comments that for me it would be unfair that we've given one manager 22 years only for to have a coach who's come in to see through the transition only to let him go or to sack him after only 2 seasons. I think we've got to give him more chance. He's only had 2 transfer windows, Richard. Three, three, two,
No,
three.
I think it's one transfer window in terms of the summer. I think
Right.
that was his first proper transfer window.
Okay.
And obviously he'll have January as well. So obviously this summer transfer window was important, and so will be January. Because what I'm hearing about Josh Kroenke, he said that we are going to be more proactive
Yeah.
in January as well. Now going back to what Glenn just said about Unai Emery, he is worrying me a bit because I don't think, and it is true, I honestly don't think he is learning from his mistakes. I don't think he is. Because if he learnt from his mistakes, why is he playing Xhaka all the time when he knows that he's not doing right in midfield?
But Richard, when was the last time we saw Mustafi? Why haven't we seen Mustafi? So he
That's a
has
good
learned
point
from
as
his
well.
mistakes.
Yeah.
It's just that it's gonna take a while. But yeah, Glenn, I take your point. That he doesn't appear to be, you know, um, learn from his mistakes. And I think the problem is that he's already that Xhaka is one of the designated captains. He was a captain yesterday, and who would want to have Xhaka as leading the team when he's making mistakes? What are they thinking, the team, when they see that Xhaka is on the team sheet? What are they thinking that they've got this guy as the captain of Arsenal? It's not a good example. It's not a good
No.
example.
See,
But
I am also worried about Unai Emery because I if we're out of the top four spot time January comes around, then maybe the board might start thinking, whether or not if he is the right man, if he's not achieving the goals that Josh Kroenke or Stan Kroenke wants. Then maybe Arsenal will be ruthless and say, you know what, maybe you are not the right person to take over this club, and then maybe go elsewhere and get someone else. I know Jose Mourinho is out of a job at the moment. I personally don't want him, but if he's the only option to bring in, I don't see why not. He might be able to push the team a little bit forward. Then you've got to look at, I think it's either Allegri. I believe he's out of a job still. I'm not 100% if he is. Maybe Allegri could be a possibility to come into the team and to push this side, because he's won multiple leagues with Juventus. He's won, Champions Leagues as well. So maybe it's a possibility maybe to look elsewhere if the worst comes to the worst.
Okay, I think we've got a newbie here actually. I've not seen Chuck Wanhormy. Excuse the pronunciation of your name, and I'm sure that's not you because that looks like Brad Pitt to me in the picture. But anyway, that's a different story. After the game yesterday, will Emery still play Xhaka? You know what? I would put my house in it. I think he's going to play Xhaka again after the 2-week international break. He expect to see Xhaka play more games. That's the way I can see things going, unless he gets injured. Unless someone has a talk to Unai Emery, Josh Kroenke or Raul or Binay, expect to see Granit Xhaka playing more. Sorry.
Yeah, I do as well, as he is one of the alternated captains that Unai Emery has got, so he's bound to play him unless he is injured. If you look at before when I said to you about my captains, I said about Socrates and Lacazette. Now I'm more looking towards Lacazette. He should be our captain.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because he with Lacazette he gives 110% in every game, even if he's not playing to his absolute best, he will still try. I think it was unlucky for him to get that injury during the Tottenham game yesterday. I don't think that Lacazette was fully 100% anyway from that injury that he had. I don't think he was 100%, but it is what it is.
Let's just rack through these last chats now. Thoughts on Mkhitaryan going on loan. I'm not sure if you've already addressed this. Yes, we have. I was really surprised that if Emery knew literally that he was going to be going day after to sign for AS Roma on a loan deal or whatever it is, then why play him? I mean, he could have got injured yesterday, Mkhitaryan. Well, anyway. And in Guna, how do you see the back three in line with Luis, Papa, and Chambers at the back for the effectiveness of Said Kolasinac?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the back three in the Nguna. Really, Richard would tell you, I'm not a fan. I like to see a solid, back four with good left backs, good right backs, and good centre backs. But a back three, I'm not really a fan of that. Kolasinac, like I've said, he's good. He's okay going forward, but going back or defending, he doesn't give really much in defence. Which I beg the question: why let Monreal go? Kolasinac is the only recognised left back we have who's fit. Tierney is a way off. He's not fully fit yet. So yeah, I do question the time of letting Nacho Monreal, who was actually one of our 5 captains, go. Dearie me. All right, and we've got one here from Glenn. You have an angry brother and you are so nice. Sounds like a TV show. Glenn, I've got to say, on Cannon Fodder TV, we try not to take ourselves too serious. It's only a sport. It's only football. Life has a lot more to offer than just football. We love having so many guests come on Cannon Fodder TV, but one thing is for sure, there's a lot of laughter. There's lots of debates, of course, because we all have different opinions, but we try not to take ourselves too serious. So as much as I've got a brother who's so angry and I'm so nice, it's just the way we are on Cannon Fodder TV. Sorry about that. And let's just wrap up the last 2 because we'll be here forever, Richard. And I've got Actually, he's responding to your comment about.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying nothing.
Mm,
Personally, I wouldn't go for Mourinho. I wouldn't go for him.
no.
I wouldn't go for him. Yeah.
No. Do you know what's been? I wouldn't either, but maybe if Arsenal do decide to get rid of Emery, then maybe we've got no other choice. That's the way I'm looking at it.
All right. And Don Juan says, I'd rather keep Emery than have Mourinho.
Yeah, but do you know what? I'm going to reply to that. I actually think that Unai Emery has to learn from his mistake, as from yesterday from the Tottenham game. He needs to learn and say, do you know what, Xhaka, I'm not going to have you in. I'm not going to have you in the side next game because you're making stupid mistakes that's costing us 3 points.
Yeah.
He has to be ruthless. I'm sorry, even though he's one of our captains, he needs to be ruthless and stop still giving the players that little bit of a comfort.
Yeah, and Ray has actually said, Glenn, Emery, by his selections, is becoming his own worst enemy. Yeah, I think he's given the fan base ammunition because we can see clearly, Granit Xhaka is making errors, which is costing us goals all the match, and he continues to play him. So my argument would be just to drop him for a few matches. He should not be guaranteed to be on the team list. He's a squad player, at most. A squad player, and that is it. If we have
Everyone is.
an injury in the midfield, then we can bring him in, but he
Mm,
shouldn't be guaranteed to be on the team sheet as one of the 11 players.
Yeah, but Al, you think about they're all squad players. They should be all fighting for their position.
I guess so. That's a good point. Yeah,
they're all squad players. So if Lacazette has a bad game, then you might have to drop him. If he's having a few bad games, drop him.
But the thing is, Richard, like I said to you before, we don't have a Danny Welbeck. That if one or two of the strikers are injured or they're off form, we don't have anybody else to step into his shoes because we not only sold Danny Welbeck, but we put Eddie Nketiah out on loan. So we don't have that plan B.
Yeah, I don't see the point in that. We should have kept him. We should have kept Eddie Nketiah. And this is where I feel also that Emery's made a mistake by letting Nketiah go out on loan. When really, as you said, if one of our players get injured, we've got no one to come in. Maybe if we have to, we might have to take Pepe out and actually bring him on because he can play centre forward.
Ah, dear. All right, couple more. Glenn, if you say life is like a box of chocolates, I'm leaving. Life is like a box of chocolates, Glenn. I'm only joking. Oh dear. Listen, we're gonna call it quits. Again, there's so much going on in the chat there. But yeah, if we were to read all of them, we'll be here until dawn. But I want to say thank you to everyone who came into the chat, who passed by. I think the numbers went up, it fluctuated, I think 10 or 12. But thank you to everyone who came in. But I also want to say thank you to my co-host in Richard from Arsenal TV. Make sure, please, whoever's watching now, go over, subscribe to his channel so he can make his way and finally reach 1,000 subscribers. Please, I'm begging you, do it now.
Yeah.
Actually, they might not have the link. So
no. So what I'll do, as I said, once we come off air, I'll go into the comments and I'll put the link in to my channel.
Yep. Okay.
And I have I know I don't normally do reviews, but I actually want to do one for this game. I've got a review coming out tonight of the Tottenham game. I know I don't normally do reviews, but I think this one I do need to, have my say on the game.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to give Glenn the last say. And you know what he says?
Thank you.
Actually, Glenn, why don't you go on Richard's show? Yeah, there you go, Richard. Have Glenn on your channel. Do a live stream with him.
I'm looking to do probably once I get my laptop sorted. I am looking to do podcast shows like every week.
Yeah.
Like a weekly podcast of the thoughts and upcoming games, and that's what I'm looking to do soon once my laptop is sorted.
Yeah. Okay. And just one more message that's going out because I can see that Ray is still active in the chat from Arsenal Fan Circle.
Yeah.
Ray, I know I came onto your show yesterday, and I think we said towards the end that no one got the prediction right. There's only one person
Yeah.
who got it right, and it was Luca. Luca got it right. He did say 2-2. So I think the points goes to Luca. Anyhow, we're going to wrap up this segment of fan comments. I want to thank, again, you guys for coming to the chat. Also want to thank Richard from Arsenal TV.
You're welcome,
More
man.
importantly, I want to thank everyone who came by to see this madness on Cannon Fodder TV on fan comments. And like I always say, there can never, ever really be Cannon Fodder TV if we don't have anyone subscribe or follow us on our Twitter handle. But if you've been wondering who or what you've been watching, you have been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And have a blessed 2-week rest.